Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michelle, and I will be teaching you how to set up the CIT mobile app. I'm going to wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else is going to join us before I begin. And of course, if you can see my screen and if you can hear me, please raise your hand. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and begin, and just let you guys know I am recording this session so that way I can upload it to YouTube and then our Facebook group. And again, if you're not a part of our Facebook group, go to Facebook, look up Community Income Tax Partners and join it, so that way you have a great community to interact with. And of course, I always post, and so does the rest of the crew that is here. So we're going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up the mobile app. In the admin user, or if any other user in the office has admin privileges, what they'll do is once they log in, actually, I think I'm going to need to go over to my other account. So let me log out and log back into my other account so I can actually show it to you, because I've already got a demo set for this account. Okay, so once you log in, top right corner where your company information, a company name, or where the administrator name is at, go ahead and select it. Go to settings. You'll notice that on the right hand side it'll say co-brand mobile app. If you select it, this is what you're going to fill out as far as how you want it to represent the mobile app. I've got community income tax here. I'm going to go ahead and put my name as the ERO because I'm the even holder. Make sure the address is in here. Whatever email that you choose to put it in here, anything will go to that email. As far as when taxpayers go in there and they want to email the office, it's going to go there. So I'm going to put the one that I use most often. And mobile app name, very important. You can put your company name here. So I'm going to just put community income tax. And then the mobile app short name, I'm going to just abbreviate it to CIT. And then the site name, this is what's going to go in front of the rest of the URL. So if you've got a really long company name, as long as you're okay with it, that's fine. But just be aware that people don't like to really type a lot of keys in here. So I'm going to put this as CIT. And let me make sure, because my other one is listed as that as well. I'm going to put it as CIT demo, so that way it doesn't confuse with my other one that I've got. Now, next thing is whether or not you have multiple offices and you want to send all the interviews to the main office so that you can distribute it among your preparers. And then another thing, print checks at this office, so that way you can go ahead and check it if you want to print checks there. Now, if you have a company logo, this is where you're going to add it. And it has to be under 32 kilobytes. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to choose a file. And here are my logos. And depending on what kind of logo that you want, I'm going to go ahead and do this one because it's got a tagline. I like taglines. And then my mobile app logo, I'm going to choose something different so that way you can actually see the difference. It shows you a preview of both of them. So what I'm going to do after I've chose the file, I'm going to upload it. Logo uploaded successfully. And then I'm going to go to the second one. Logo uploaded successfully. Once I'm done right here, I'm going to go ahead and save it. And it's going to give me confirmation saying co-branding information was saved successfully. Now, the link that you're going to be able to see is, let's see, whatever you set it up as far as the URL goes, and the last part of it, so I set it up as, I'm going to open up another browser and I'm going to go to CIT demo, and the last part of it will be .taxwise mobile.com. So this is going to be your hyperlink to go ahead and distribute it to amongst other customers. And you'll notice that here's my little logo that says community income tax. If people come in here via the web or mobile app or anything, they have the option to add CIT to the home screen. So that way they have a little icon put on their tablet or their phone or things like that, so they can go quickly to it. And we know how all this works. They can go ahead and get in here, do the estimate, and then create the return. And within here, they'll be able to upload documents, and you'll be able to go back and forth, especially with emails or sending them documents. As far as setting the pricing for this, that part of that app has not been updated yet, but they are scheduling a update over the weekend. I think it's over the weekend. Or is it on Monday? Tuesday, December the 17th is when it's going to be updated to also be able to put in your pricing for this. So depending on what depending on where you're catering to the needs of, like if you're doing it at a college or setting up shop at a dealership, you may want to put your pricing a little bit different than what you would do in the office, considering that these customers are filling out most of the return for you. All you're needing to do is go in there, submit it for their e-signature, and then go ahead and submit the e-file once you get it back and get paid for it. So that's going to be a little bit of different. So to set up that pricing, stay tuned for an email that will go out once I get confirmation on that. I'll usually do it the next day. That way I get a little bit of time to get in here and play around with it so I can actually show it to you. So does anybody have any kind of questions? Yes. When you're setting it up, your company, like what I put CIT demo, and then it's going to be .taxwisemobile.com. So just let you guys know, I'm going to come back over here to the dashboard. You have to be in the 19 software, and especially being the admin user. Come over here and go to settings and go to co-brand mobile app. This is where you're going to fill out all of the information as far as setting it up, like your firm name, your ERO name, the EFIN, the email that you want all the emails for this mobile app to go to, so that way you can check it on a daily basis. And then the mobile app name, community income tax. This is what it is. It says community income tax right up here at the top right. This is what it's going to look like. And then the website logo for community income tax shows right here. And then my little bitty icon that I've got right here so that they can add it to their home screen on their mobile device. That's what it looks like. So mobile app short name, CIT. If you don't want it to say CIT, like this is how they're going to save it. So once it gets saved, let's see if it'll actually do it. Wow, it actually put it as an app. That's awesome. But they'll have a little icon and it'll say CIT. So you really don't want it to have a really long name, especially if they're going to have it on their mobile app. Just if you can condense it. If not, then they're going to have a really long name. And then, of course, the site name, CIT demo. That's what comes before the .taxwisemobile.com. Good question. Are we liable for information they enter far as being in compliance? When it creates the interview in the software, you're obligated to go in there and review the return before you submit it back to them to be able to sign it and then e-file it. So yes, you're still liable for the return. You're just going in there to review it. Very important in any of the previous sessions when I showed you how to set up the tax form defaults, and I showed you how to set it red where the email address is at. That way you can start collecting email addresses for your clients going forward, so that way you have it. If you have an email list, then you can do a blind copy and just send them the link that you create. If you have a website, then you can put it up on the website with your little icon that they can just click to go ahead and do that. If you have a Facebook page, then you can advertise it there or any other place. Like I am a part of a lot of groups around here in Jacksonville, especially when it comes to yard selling and stuff like that, because I'm always about a good deal. So it's a good way to advertise because other people advertise in there as well. So you can go in there and say, hey, come get your taxes done. Go here to get them done. Where it says mobile app name, mobile app short, and the site name, this is going to be your company information. I'm just setting this up because I'm a part of CIT. So if you had a Smith income tax, it would be Smith income tax, and then you can put it as SIT and then SIT for the URL. So always put your company information in it. All of the videos or all the webinars that I actually do, I do record it and I upload it to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and type in community income tax, you'll see the overview of the admin online, overview of the sub-user online. I just uploaded the desktop version, and then once this gets filtered through the system, I will upload this as well. Yes, the email that you enter in here is where everything is going to filter through. So if a customer goes in there and they have the capability of emailing the office or texting the office, it automatically goes to the email that you list here. Once it comes into the system, you're going to see it on the tax return tab, import interviews, and that's where you're going to be able to assign it to different users. And like I said, this year the feature for them to be able to select who they were referred by is in the roadmap, and it may not be for this year, it may have to be for next year. So I recommend if you have a business card that they take a picture and add it to the uploads in the mobile app, or even write it on a piece of paper when they're uploading all their documents for the mobile app. This is for them to prepare a basic 1040. Once it starts to get complicated as far as like Schedule C's and D's, then they would actually have to come into the office. But if it's a simple 1040, they can complete it. They can upload all the documents that you need. It will create an interview in the software itself, and all you need to do is review it, send it back to them to sign it, and e-file it once you get it back signed. There is no additional cost for this. As a CIT customer, we give this to you for free. So whatever you decide as far as your site name goes, CIT demo is mine, and then it's going to be dot taxwise. Did I actually lose it? Okay, so here it is. So it's going to be your company information that you put there, and then dot taxwisemobile.com. You'd be surprised as to what you could possibly do with this mobile app. And I have discussed it with quite a few people beforehand. Like, if you are near a local college, I would suggest that you go and sit down and talk to one of the people down there to see if you can set up a kiosk to where they can actually go in and prepare their tax returns, or even on their poster board leave a little flyer with your web address so that they can actually get on there and do their tax return. Even at a car dealership, it's a win-win situation for everyone. Set up shop, have a little icon placed on a little tablet, so all they got to do is click on it, it comes to the mobile app, and then they can do this, create it, you get the interview, and then you can print out the check at your office and take it over to the dealership. So many possibilities for you to gain additional income with. So in order to set this up, you have to log into the online version. So twonline.taxwise.com. Once you are logged in and it takes you to your dashboard, come over here to where you can actually do the drop down and go to settings. And then right here where it says co-brand mobile app is what you're going to fill out to create the mobile app. If you come across where you put in your site name and it might be the same as other people that are listed here with the TaxWise mobile app, it will tell you that it's already taken. And it'll tell you that you got to choose something else. Yes, you guys have to follow the same compliance as you do in the office because you're still liable because your EFIN and PTIN are attached to it. So once you import the interview, review the return, make sure that everything is good to go before you submit it back to them to get a signature. If there is something that you need as far as an additional, you can actually email within TaxWise Online to the customer or even text them to let them know, hey, you need additional information or you need a copy of the birth certificate, social security cards, so that way you're in compliance. In the online version, Edward, I'd show when we did the templates how to mark the field as red. So that way when you create a return, it marks that email field red so you can start collecting that data going forward. Yes, they can save the data and come back to it later, but once they submit the return, that's it. They'll have to come into the office if they need to make any kind of changes. So let me go here and I can show you, because I did a video of the mobile app. We're going to mute it because I'll just tell you. So this is what it looks like to the customer when they go to the website and they can easily click on estimate your taxes or skip to go to a 1040 interview. And once this is all about you, and this is how they're going to be able to get their estimate and choose if there's a state in there, and it'll say, okay, well, you're getting $2,000 back, and then it's going to ask. So this right here, let's go back a little, is the type of incomes that it will take. employment income, unemployment income, interest income, Social Security benefits, and other taxable income. So if it gets complicated like Schedule C's and D's and E's, they will have to come into the office. So once this gets entered, and then of course they can do paid student loans, IRA, education expensive, and qualified expenses as well. And here's where they get their estimate once they fill out all the necessary information. So they can continue and go ahead and create an account to be able to do this. And then once they create the account, they're getting in here and entering all the information like you normally would in the office itself. But this is just for, like I said, a basic 1040. If it gets complicated, they have to come into the office. So right here, you'll see where they put their identification, select a file to upload. So that way they can put a copy of their ID, driver's license, passport, whatever the system takes. And then unemployment income, there's also, or W-2, it says select a file to upload so that they can put in their copy of W-2s. And then towards the end, you'll see that right here is where they're going to finalize and choose whatever method that they want to pay you with. So like whatever you're signed up with, and if you have the capability to do the pre-ax, then they'll be able to select the pre-ax. If they select, there is a different option if they don't do the refund that they can pay out of pocket. So you're going to have to make some kind of arrangement to be able to collect the funds before you submit that e-file, whether it be Cash App, PayPal, um, or if they just come in the office, drop a check off, or pay you in cash, and then you can go ahead and submit the return. But if it's done as a bank product, they don't have to wait. You just have to review the return, send it to them to sign, and then go ahead and submit the e-file once you get it back as a signature. And then they're going to review it to make sure everything is fine and dandy. And of course, they have a little more. They can do a voice call, they can text you, or they can email you from within the app. And this is what happens once they submit it. Anytime that they go to log in here, this is the only screen that they're going to be able to see. They will not be able to go back into the return to fix it. They'll have to come into the office to fix it. So it says submission received. Once you go into that return and review it, it starts updating. Return being reviewed. Once you submit the e-file, once you submit the signature, then it's going to go to waiting on signatures. It will alert them that they need to sign it. And then, of course, once they sign it, it'll start flipping. Once you e-file it, it'll start to say federal e-file submitted and then federal e-file accepted. If they ever need to come back in here to upload more documents, then they would be able to do that under the upload documents. So once the tax payer submits it, then I'll have to log out of my account and go back to the other account to show you the interview. Once it gets submitted, and I'll show you in 18 because it's not here in 19 just yet. And I go to my tax return tab. You see this? Import interviews. You'll be able to select it and start importing them. It always comes to the admin user because you have to reassign it to different users. Once you get in here and you look at the return itself, and if they happen to have uploaded a business card or a name of the preparer, then you can go ahead and reassign it to that preparer. And the way that you do it is view more actions, move returns, select the return, and select the user to put it in. Correct. You do have to set up the app, and I would advise you to do it on a computer and not on a mobile device. That way you have the bigger screen and you might have your logos on your desktop versus a mobile. So once you get it set up, then you can go ahead and send it to yourself, and you can create an icon on your mobile app so that way you can show it to people. Or if you're going to do the idea of setting up a kiosk with a tablet, then you can go ahead and get that set up and have a little icon put on the home screen. So all they got to do is click on it to create the account. Good question. Since you have someone like TurboTax that offers a similar service, how do we compete with us being paid preparers and them offering it for quote unquote free? That's understandable. Everybody wants something for free. It's just why would you want to go to TurboTax if you have somebody that is local in your town that you can easily go to and have your taxes done via the web in the middle of the night because you got to get the kids ready for bed, homework, fed, bathed, and all that kind of good stuff, and you finally find time in the middle of the night to be able to do your tax return. Me myself, I would trust somebody that is local that I've known for quite some time or that has a reputation versus a big company that all they do is fork out money and make themselves better rather than helping the little people in the neighborhood. No. So the way that it's set up is if you have customers for previous years and they go in and use the mobile app, it will not carry over their data from last year. So when you import the interview, you're going to import what they put in there and you won't be able to carry forward that data. And if you already did carry over that data, it will cause it to say that there's already return in the system. Correct. They can send data. They can send data. They just cannot add data or correct anything to the actual return that they've already submitted. Yes, you can always add data, especially if you bring in the return into the system. So it's just going to create the returns to where you can go into it, review it, and if you have to call the customer, text the customer, or email the customer, then you can easily say, "Hey, I need to get copies of like." Especially for due diligence, and they didn't upload copies of birth certificates, social security cards of dependents, school records, whatever you normally get, especially if it's a new customer, you can go ahead and send it back to them and say, "Hey, I need to get this." And then my advice, client notes, leave yourself a note saying that you're working on it and you're waiting for the customer to send back documents that you need. Yes, as admin user, you can see everything that everybody in the office is doing. So, in regards to competing with other mobile apps that are out there, here's a story from Ron. I had a client last year that his mom paid Turbo $250 and it got rejected. Then she did Credit Karma for another $250 and it was still wrong. I got it amended and charged $200 and it was accepted. So not it's not always worth going online and being able to do your tax return, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And if it gets accepted and comes back, you might get audited because you didn't know what you were doing. At least this way, there is an actual tax preparer behind it and they are local. So if you are reviewing the return and you get in here and you notice that something's off, you can reach out to that customer. And I would appreciate it if you did and tell me, "Hey, you've got this in here. Are you sure about this?" And I'm be like, "Oh, was I not supposed to do that?" And I would definitely appreciate something like that versus, "Okay, let me enter all my information on TurboTax, get it submitted, it gets accepted, and then I get a letter in the mail from the IRS." So Good question. If they are a prior year client and the information won't match up with last year's, is there a way to get the info they're uploading and just do it the normal way? So, great news. They are going to be deploying an update to allow for you guys to be able to email within the tax return. You don't have to have the mobile app. You can email your customer as long as they have an email back and forth, and they can send you information like the documents that you need. So I'll be doing another webinar to show you guys that as well. Yes. So once they submit that return, you will be able to import the interview that will create the return in your system for you to be able to review. As far as the bank product goes, you don't have to do anything as long as you're signed up with it. They will actually see what type of product that they want to, as far as like an RT or an advance or a pre-act, they can go ahead and select it. Because once you send the interviews, not interviews, but the signatures back to them, it's going to sign the 1040 and the bank form. So no need to have them come in the office like they did this past tax season. They're going to be signed as well. There is not a way to have the returns go to sub users. It will always come into the admin user, so that way you can reassign it. I have asked for that as an enhancement, and they are looking into something like that. So like I said, this is for a basic 1040. If you've got customers who are out there that are a whole lot more complicated, the email feature in the system is going to work for you. So you can roll over their return, and then once you get into the return, you're going to be able to select to send them an email, and you can go ahead and say, hey, I need these documents, or reply with the documents that you need me to take care of for the 2019 filing season, and they can respond and give an attachment to it. The only thing that I could tell you, if it gets more complicated in a 1040, they can go ahead and upload like their things as far as Schedule C's and D's go. That way you can take a look at their picture and you can go ahead and bring in those forms and fill it out. As of right now, email feature is on the roadmap to be deployed, and where did it go? Let me tell you what is the time frame for that. It's going to be early January is when they're going to release it for the email. Make sure that you guys are logging into your admin user to be able to see the functionality for your settings and also to see it. Because this is although I have admin privileges in this user, I'm not going to see it. You actually have to log into the admin user. It's one app per location or per EFIN. And you're not limited to how many people can actually get in there and prepare the tax return. So you can have 1,000 people get in there. You just have to import the interviews, review them, send them for signatures, and then e-file them. Admin will only be the one that sees the interviews coming in. Even if you have every person in the office set up to see every single return, then they won't see it until you import it into the system. So you're going to be the only one, or if you have admin privileges, you're going to be the only one that sees import interviews. So As you can tell, I have admin privileges, but I cannot see the mobile app, so I'm going to go ahead and log out and log into my training account so that I can show you. So make sure you are logging into the admin user. Come over here to where you normally see administrator, or if you've changed it, because I have, because I like to see which location I'm at. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select settings. And well, let me make sure that I'm in my 19 version. You got to be at TaxWise Online 19 for you to be able to see this. So once you get in here, you go to settings, you'll see the co-brand mobile app. You'll go ahead and select it. This is where you're going to enter all of the information. It's very important that where you put the site name, CIT demo, and then it'll be .taxwisemobile.com will come after it. So once we make contact with the client via the app, even if we need more information, can we still complete a return completely virtually via the app or email? Yes. So once they submit that, they don't even have to come into the office if you need anything. You're going to be able to email them or text them within the software in case you need any additional information, or call them up because they'll put their phone number there, or they can do the same thing as well for you in case they need to get in touch with you. There's never a need for them to actually come into the office unless you need them there for a different reason, because all they got to do is upload all their documentation, sign the return, choose what type of payment that they want. And of course, that is another reason. If they decide to pay in person because they want to give you cash rather than doing it as a bank product, then that may be the only reason that they actually come into the office. But other than that, no other reason for them to come in. They can just totally use the mobile app and you can communicate back and forth through it. Yes, so most everybody has a smartphone. If they don't, I'm sure they have a flatbed scanner, but I'm sure they have grandchildren or children or nieces or nephews that can actually help because they have smartphones. They can take a picture of all the documents and upload it via the mobile app. As far as your site name, this is where your company logo goes. So like with the one that I did the demo with, it is CIT Mobile Demo.tw generation when they first came out. So the one that I just recently did, I put my company name as CIT Demo, and then after that, .taxwisemobile.com. So like I said, I've got some of this condensed down if you think you can condense it down, because we know people do not like to type really long words unless it's a link that they can actually click on and it takes them to there, which is perfect. So you can put it because I could easily put it as CIT and then just had it that way. Just put like your company information. If it's been taken, it will tell you. Whatever email address that you list here, all the correspondence will go to it. Even if you reassign the return to a different user, you will still get the correspondence to the email address that's listed here. Do we have any other questions? Technically, yes, they can do the return for the basic 1040 and then just upload the documents if it needs to go further than a 1040 in the software. But they just need to let you know, or you'll have to go looking through the documents that they uploaded to know that you're going to need to bring in a Schedule C or a D or things like that for the return. Yes, Tammy. So when you're creating it, and this the site name right here, CIT Demo, when you're sending out the actual link for customers or posting it to your website or anything else like that, it's going to be CIT Demo, whatever you put here, and then it's going to be .taxwisemobile.com. In regards to send interviews to main office or print checks at this office, if you are a part of a multi-office, then you can select it. But if it's just you, leave it blank. As far as logos, if you do not already have something in place as far as a logo, then I'm sure you can actually do a Google search to create a logo for your company. The app does not integrate with iFirm, but it does integrate with the online, which integrates with iFirm. Yeah, as far as logo goes, if you don't already have one, I would suggest that you do a Google search on how to create one. So that way you can put your logo up, and when it get bookmarked or added to the home screen on a mobile app, then it will have your little icon there for them to click on it. The only thing that is lacking as of right now is being able to put the pricing in here for the mobile app. I will do a separate training webinar to show you how to do that because it's not released as of yet. Expected release will be the 17th. Once I get a hold of it, get in it, play around in it, I will schedule a webinar for you guys to join so I can show you how to put that in there. Yes, if you do not already have a logo, you will have to create one for yourself. The site for the link is going to be whatever you put in here for the site demo. Mine is CIT demo, and then it's going to be .taxwisemobile.com. As soon as I know how to set up the pricing, I'm going to see how, because I know that you guys uh, can advertise that they can upload other documents so that way you can complete like Schedule C's and D's and stuff like that. And there is a a difference between just doing a 1040 and doing a more complicated return. So once I get in here, see the capability of being able to set up the pricing and seeing if there is a possibility for saying that it's contingent. If you have to do more of a work, then you may be charged more. You can set up the mobile app as of right now, you just cannot set up the pricing for it. So like I said, if you want to set it up, make sure you're in the admin user, go to your settings up here, and then you'll see it on the right hand side that says co-brand mobile app. And be aware, once you create it, this site name cannot change. So make sure of what you want as far as your site name goes. Yeah, for your mobile app name and your mobile app short name, please put your company name in there. So I just did this because I'm a part of Community Income Tax. That's the company name, so I'm going to use my company name. So if your company name is Smith Income Tax, go ahead and put that in there, and then you can mark it off as Smith, or put it as SIT, so it's short for Smith Income Tax, and then choose your site name. Yes, once you submit everything that's here, it'll save what it is. The only thing you could possibly come back in to do is to change everything except for the site name. If you guys are coming into errors saying that like this, only PNG format supported, it cannot exceed 32 kbytes, that is a friendly warning. Unless, of course, once you save it and it gives you the confirmation that it's saved, then go to your little link that you've created, company name .taxwisemobile.com, and check it out to make sure everything looks good before you start handing it out. Because you can see that mine has a little error here, but I can still see it because it's completed. Does anybody else have any questions? So, as far as the pricing for the mobile app goes, that is not available as of yet. The tentative date for it to be available will be the 17th. Once I get a hold of it, I'm going to go ahead and be able to get in here, fiddle with it, and show it to you. As far as doing pricing for everything else, if you go to your return templates and you go into, if you create a master template, you can go in there and edit it and go to your price list so that way you can put the pricing here. And again, remember, if you want to lock the pricing in, make sure you're hitting your control and your L on your keyboard so it locks that price in and anybody other than the admin cannot change it. I don't think there is a limit as far as how long the site name can be, but just be aware that when you're setting this up and you're putting that name in there, you don't want it to be extra long, unless of course you're going to advertise it to where they can just click on it and go to the website, because a lot of people are not going to want to type that in. Yes. So if you guys have a mobile website, like if you have a website, you can go ahead and add this link with a little icon that they can just click on to go do their taxes. If you have Facebook, you can advertise it there, especially in groups that you know that are around in the neighborhood, so that they can go and do their app, Facebook page, website, anything that you know that you can advertise. Go ahead and advertise it so you can get your name out there with the mobile app. Yes, I will. As soon as it filters through the system, like I said, this has been recorded. I will upload it to our YouTube channel and then post it to our Facebook group. So let's save and close this and go back over here to settings. And once you're in setting, go to co-brand mobile app. This is where you're going to set it up. And then of course the link is going to be whatever you decide as far as your URL goes, .taxwisemobile.com. Yes, taxpayers will be able to, once they go through the whole process of doing the return, they're going to see the pricing that you're going to set up once we get it available. As far as the color scheme goes, I have sent a request to ask about that because I don't like it. I'm sorry, but I don't. I'd like to be able to do different colors, especially if I have a logo like this and it looks kind of awkward with the colors that they've got set. Perfect. Really great questions going on. Does anybody else have any questions? Yes, you will be able to change pricing for your clients. If it states that, okay, your estimated tax return is going to cost $100, you still have the capability of when you bring that return in, you can make changes to the return, including the pricing, as long as you have the privileges to change the pricing, if especially if the admin's locked it. As far as it is right now, English is the main language for the mobile app. I have asked for Spanish because we do have a lot of Spanish speaking customers, and it's more beneficial because there is a Spanish community out there, and that's on the roadmap. Yes. So if the client actually chooses to do it as a bank product and then they reach out to you before you actually send it for signatures or send it off, then you can easily go in there and take the bank app off, set it to straight e-file, just make sure to collect your fees. So when you're setting it up, it's basically the site name is in the URL, the mobile app shortcut, because you'll be able to see, let's see, not that one. Well, as long as I have it spelt correctly, we're good. So when they first initially go to it, right here where it says mobile app name community income tax, this is where it's at right here, top right corner. The logo that I uploaded is right here. And in order to put it to the home screen where I actually have it say CIT, it's right here, add CIT to the home screen. So that way when it creates the icon on the home screen, it lists it as CIT. When they create the account, they're basically going in here and seeing all of this information as far as setting up the return goes. So that way they don't see what you see like in tax wise as far as the return goes. It's just a basic question and answer for them to be able to get in here and do the mobile app like that, and then they'll submit it. You're welcome. It's okay. So again, whatever you entered here as far as the site name goes, then you're going to add dot taxwisemobile.com. So, good question, Christian. I'm glad you asked that. So, a part of the enhancements for this season is they're going to have the OCR technology in the online version. So, guess what that means? When you are in here uploading documents to the Vault system, and it's not available as of yet, but I'll still go through the motions. So when you're in here and uploading the documents as far as the Vault system goes, you're going to have the capability of, if it's labeled as a W-2 and you import it, it will give you that capability of reviewing everything that's on the W-2 and import the actual data into the W-2. So it's not available as of yet, but once it becomes available, I'll do a video for you guys. As far as any of the rest of the documents, it will automatically, once you initialize the return and bring it in, it'll put all the documents in the Vault system for you. Correct. So it is your url.taxwisemobile.com. I know we're getting such great features this season. Mobile app, integrated email, OCR technology to input the data from the W-2s. No, it is not only the documents from the mobile app. So if you have customers coming in and you have people in the front uploading the documents that they've scanned in, that OCR technology will be here in the Vault to be able to bring in those figures to the W-2. I think even if you do the camera app, it still has that capability of taking a picture of the W-2 to recognize it, because it's the OCR technology that's going to be incorporated with the Vault system, so it recognizes it as a W-2. And then the next screen, you're basically going to see the actual information as far as the W-2 goes. And let me see if I can show you. Okay, so I need to show. So this is what it's going to look like. So let me make the screen bigger, and this is the TaxWise version. So be aware that this is not labeled as CIT. When you upload it, it's going to have this capability of being able to scan the document for the W-2. So when you come in here and you've already scanned it, it's going to show, it's going to ask if you want to overwrite the existing form or create a new form. I just would create a new form. And this is what it's going to show you. All the entry boxes that are on the W-2, it wants you to verify all of the calculations or the data is correct. If not, then it will allow you to edit it before it pulls in the information as far as the W-2 goes. So if you guys have your own mobile app, it doesn't have the capability of being able to integrate with TaxWise Online, because our coders and developers had to go on the back end to make sure that they communicate with each other to create that return in the online version. But this is just another way for you to get rid of an additional charge, because we don't charge you for the mobile app and you can just use ours. It's free. This is not an actual app that's in the App Store or the Google Play. It's basically when you send them the link, they're going to have that capability when they come over here, this right here at the top that says add CIT to the home screen, and it'll create the little icon for them just to click on it, and it automatically brings them to the link that you created. Yes, this has been recorded, and as soon as we finish up here, I will get it uploaded to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook group, so that way you can review it. And of course, I'll be doing another session as soon as I get the capability of being able to show you how to set up your pricing with this. So we'll have another webinar. So I will stick around for a few more minutes just in case you guys have any questions. And like I said, this is going to be recorded, and I will upload it to our YouTube channel, so that way you guys can review it later. And of course, I will be doing another one, so that way I can show you how to put the pricing in. Yeah, so if you guys have a website, then you can just incorporate the mobile app link, like put a little icon on there and embed the link in it, so that all they gotta do is click it and come over, and it'll bring them over here to be able to do the tax return. So when you go into twonline.taxwise.com, which is the website to get into the online program, once you get into the online program, what you're going to do is, if you're in the dashboard, it automatically brings you to the dashboard. When you log in, you're going to come over here to where it should say administrator or your name if you changed it, and go to settings. And then you're going to go to co-brand mobile app. If you guys are in the desktop version and want to transfer to the online version, give us a call, and I've already received an email, and we will get you taken care of for some of you to get you switched over to the online version. Correct. If you have one office, you do not need to check off that you want the main office to be able to print checks and import interviews. Yes, you can use the online version for your 1040s and the desktop version for your business returns. But I do also recommend that you have the desktop installed even if you don't do the business returns, just in case your internet goes out. You can still prepare tax returns in the desktop version, and then once the internet comes back up, you can transfer them to the online version. The link to be able to log into your online version of TaxWise is twonline.taxwise.com. As far as your mobile app, you will actually literally have to get in here to set it up, so that way you can create a custom URL like I did with ours. And like I said, if you're in the desktop version, I highly recommend that you move over to the online version, because you are getting so much more, and it's, of course, free. So if you guys have any further questions, go ahead and reach out to me via email, because the email that I sent out to register for it, you can just reply to it. I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. You can also give us a call or come into chat. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. And of course, if you need to watch it again, I'll upload it to YouTube, and I will put it on our Facebook group. As far as any of our training that I have already done for like the admin user, the sub users for online, go head over to YouTube and do a search for community income tax, and they're all there for you to be able to review them. And of course, I send out emails on a weekly basis for the following week to get signed up for training. Yes, online or desktop, there's always going to be a $15 per returned or per e-filed return fee. And of course, if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. Have a great night. Oh, and Feliz Navidad.